That was better. Okay. I'm not going to make you guys do the whole thing. Yeah, welcome to Out Loud. Live poetry reading. If you've never been here before, welcome. This is the Speakeasy at Straight Ale, and we're going to read some poetry. So, we've got 15 people to go through, and the rules are you have 5 minutes to speak. I recommend speaking into the microphone, or at least speaking loud. So yeah, and I'm your host, Mario, so let's go ahead and get started. First person is Jason. Hey.
Hello. I've got a couple more poems. Last month I read poems that I wrote for National Poetry Reading Month. And I have sort of a part 2 of that because it was halfway through the month when we did the last open mic. So this one's called Any Old Family Gathering on Long Island. Did you hear about Joey? I was over at the racetrack. Honey, have you eaten today? You look, no, Joey the Palmer. I wasn't there for the races. Look, we got plenty to eat here. I was there to pick up my buddy, but no, that's his brother, Jackie. Joey's the guy who eat. My God. You think we're running a work camp? Anyway, he was camping, and I saw at the racetrack there was a fight. Joey was camping. He never camps. Here, have some meatballs, dear. Hey, well, who was fighting? A fucking bear? And that's why you shouldn't wait. Where'd you get meatballs? Food's out? Anyways, there were 4 or 5 guys. How's school? You staying away from boys? See, I never go camping there in my life. These fucking meatballs. Girls, fine, whatever. Just stay away from them, too. Well, what were they fighting over? Yeah, well, that's what Joey told me. Stay safe out there, kid. What the fuck do you mean you don't know? Wait, is he telling you about Joey? So the ambulance shows up. Shit, is the food out? Shit, the food's out. Jesus, I'm fucking hungry. How are you? You haven't said a fucking word since I got here. This next one is about my relationship with my father and my laptop. My father taught me in his own paranoid way how to be safe. Situational awareness or triage of the possible, where to sit, where to look, how to move. I've been counting exits since grade school. People talk about the algorithm like a stalker, and it is. But I've assumed eyes like this my whole life. It's frankly comforting to know someone is watching. The poet in me would shamefully wither were it not the case. See me. Watch my every move, or watch every move I show you. Take what I give and chew. Swallow. Ask for more. Tell me what I want to hear. Sell me that which I want before I want it. Preach to the choir. I've been ballet dancing through broken glass while you were ones and zeros in your father's eye. Did he teach you fear like this? Do you crave my approval like I crave a stage? Are we bastard siblings learning this dance through brutal trial and error? Of course not. And yet, I did want mozzarella sticks. Add to cart. And then this last one is just a self-reflection. I read the shitty ones louder. Like I got something to prove. And I do. And the crowd claps because they don't know better, because they don't know all the wood shop I've been taking since high school. Mr. Lawson showed me how to sand this smooth. How to cut the joints flush, how to make it look like it grew this way. But I read the shitty ones louder. Like I want you to see all these rough edges. Like I want the splinters in your fingers to match mine. Like I want you to feel it like I can't anymore. Not after the grinding, the polishing, the intentional hiding of seams. I make magic up here. And the trick is that you never saw me at all.
That was really loud. They weren't bad though. Cool. So, good job, Jason. I want to say that we have this event every third Sunday of each month. So if you want to come back and hear Jason yell at you again, in a great way, yeah, do that. It's every third Sunday, 6:30. And the sign-ups are at 6, and they fill up really fast. Everybody's been really wanting to read lately, which is super cool. And I support that. So, yeah, let's move on. Next is Grace.
That's a really tough energy to follow, so it's going to take a chill dip for me. Is it okay to read short flash fiction? Is that all right? Is it only poetry? Okay, all right. It's going to be under 5 minutes. Okay, so I have one really short poem to read first. This one's called Goodbye, Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, we said with our hands, with our silence, with the tears that narrowed my throat. And maybe I'll see you again in dry ink on postcards or when we're just passing through. And maybe the next time I try to speak, something new and lovely will come forth. A swarm of ladybugs flying out of my mouth. Goodbye, goodbye, I said, knowing that to love well here meant to puncture small holes in my swollen heart. And I always knew I'd break my own heart in this, and still I feel realer than ever, standing alone with the pieces of it in my hands, upturning my face toward the sun. And this is a very small flash fiction piece called The Salt of Hope. Sometimes Jupe imagines he can smell the oil. He imagines it tonight, standing on the edge of the rig alone. The sea is draped before him, an endless swath of black, pleating and unpleating itself in lazy waves. The oil was acrid, they say, bitter and sulfuric, clogging your nose and throat until it felt like you had drunk it. Jupe knows the feeling. Sometimes he wonders about the salinity of his blood, if his lungs are raw from inhaling the salt in the air day in and day out. He inhales deeply, closing his eyes. The breeze tosses dark coils of hair across his cheekbones as he imagines. The rig, he knew, had once been used to pierce into the Earth's veins and siphon out its slick black blood, with dozens of men aboard to work the machines. A great leviathan, his father said of the rig, always as proud as if he had been there himself, like the megalodons and the tentacled sea monsters that lived all around it. Megalodons, sharks. His father insisted that he had seen a shark once. Jupe's face, washed colorless by the pale light of the moon, twitches with suppressed emotion. He slips a hand into his pocket and fingers the talisman he always keeps on his person. A sharp, curved little triangle, worn smooth by his touch. A shark's tooth, his father had said, one that he wrestled himself out of the mouth of a shark. It was a transparent lie for Jupe's benefit. All the sharks had long since died out. All the big sea creatures had due to the carelessness of the early human race before the wealthy among them had taken to the stars to abandon their ruined home planet in pursuit of better. Jupe, the false scent of the oil evaporates with the suddenness of his mother's voice, leaving behind the brine of the sea and the tang of the sun-softened metal. Jupe releases his grip on the shark tooth as though burned by it, a frisson of guilt running down his spine. You're not out here planning a heroic journey, are you? She asks, a forced humor to her words that is at odds with the tension around her eyes. She is looking older these days, gaunt and skinny in a way that makes Jupe's chest hollow. No, of course not. I was just thinking. Thinking, always thinking. You and that busy mind of yours, just like she falters and Jupe shakes his head hard. I'm not, Mom. I've told you I wouldn't go. Her dark eyes soften as they look at him, sorrow polluting the adoration. There is nowhere to go, my Jupiter. He does not need to be reminded. He knows that those who leave usually don't return. When they do, it is bloated and pallid, their hair drifting sleepily in the waves like seaweed, and the rigor mortis stretching their jaws out into a soundless, eternal scream. And when it is time, when it is ready, they will come for us, she promises. Jupe's throat flexes around his disdain as he swallows it down. He knows better than to reason with his mother about the false hope she clung to. She had been born this rig, the same as he, but her grandmother had been a land dweller at one time, and she had told his mother that the plan was for those humans who had taken up residence in the stars to return for those left behind. It is a fantasy, a lie of comfort. For him to scoff at it is hypocritical, the shark tooth feeling as conspicuous in his pocket as if someone had slipped a hot coal into it. He, too, wants to believe that someone will return for him. Someone will return and save him from this unmoored perpetual isolation, surrounded by sea and hearing only of the beauty of land through legends passed down by people long dead. You look so like him. When you stand like this, staring at the sea, it's like seeing a ghost. She reaches for his face, affectionate, but Jupe jerks his chin out of her grasp, now thinning. His eyes burn with the threat of tears. There are no ghosts here. We don't know if it may be that he may still come back, Jupe stutters, hating his mother for the pity in her gaze, hating himself more for putting his faith in sharks' teeth, in stories, and those who abandoned them. Of course he might. She is speaking to him gently, and Jupe wants to cry, wants to run, wants to leap into the sea and let the salt overtake him until he too is nothing but a corpse of an eternal scream. But he won't, and they won't. There are no star people coming to get us. There is no oil, and there are no sharks. We are all that is left, and I want to be alone tonight, please. Jupiter, please. She does not want to leave him. He can tell by the way she pulls anxiously at her fingers and she looks up at him. He has gotten tall this last year, a man now almost, a ghost maybe. Come into the hold before too long, she finally says, giving him a thin smile. Jupe nods once, unable to meet her eye, and waits until the sound of her shoes on the metal deck have gone before he turns back to the ocean. It is as peaceful as he left it, a watery gulp with an impenetrable lock. Juke's vision blurs with tears, causing the stars to smear across the sky and the water to shimmer. Please, he says under his breath, fingers closing again around the sharp tooth. Please come back. The ocean does not answer. The air smells of nothing but salt and metal.
Wow. So, Grace, are you the first time reader?
Could you tell by my shaking?
You're shaking. Also, first time reader. Don't you have a book that you just
I
do you want to promote it a little bit?
Is that allowed?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, anybody who wants to promote can totally do that.
I have a book. I have a chat book that is out that has that story in it. And if you read it yourselves, you don't have to have me shaking at you the whole time.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, so hit up Grace after if you want to check that out. The next reader, please welcome up Rebecca.
What is a woman? This is not a question or a love poem. This is not an ode to beauty, strength, or spirit, but its opposite. It's an act of violence with plausible deniability. The state of Alabama will tell you what a woman is. Also, man, girl, boy, mother, father. With a law that takes certain people out of the equation. The picture books, the conversation. It is a targeted act of violence against a small number of children and against their parents, who may, with all good intentions, want them to stay safe and put them in a box. To suggest that any wrongs have been done is called divisive content and will not be taught at school or spoken of in the workplace. Children will learn to keep silent. My wife sleeps behind me as I work the crossword on my phone at 4 a.m. This time is the gift of menopause, a passage I make alone. Her arm is draped around me, her knees against my knees. Better to struggle with the natics, those impossible crosses of obscure proper nouns, or work out the long answers of a themeless Saturday than doom scroll. State by state, laws are being introduced to ban books, drag, AP African American studies, self-expression, discussion of gender identity, any medical treatment for gender dysphoria, now defined as disability at best. If your child could even trust you with their suffering, you can only offer your deepest sympathy. These laws disregard science, statistics, the pediatricians who know the damage this will do. The laws are not there to protect them, but to create a climate of silence, fear, ignorance. Words can be delicious or bitter, but absence of words is worse. It is lunacy, but the term lunatic has been struck out of this bill as well. A woman says the bill is defined by having organs to produce eggs. She is an egg cup, a vessel. The egg has laws to protect it, to bring it into being, but the cup is just a vessel. I remember what it was to be that kind of woman, what it was to make eggs and be fertilized, but I was also the books I read and the music I liked. I was the I that I am, the the words that I write. I did not want every egg to be fertilized. Back then, we had choices. Being a mother can take many forms. You're in the supermarket, a child writhing in cart, the days pass. What is a parent? What are children? What is life? What is sex, Mommy? What are rights? If men are defined to fertilize the egg, what is a man without a woman? What purpose would they have without us? Where do you draw the lines around gender? Can boys wear pink? If a woman wears a suit, do we evaluate the tailoring? Is she claiming authority she shouldn't have? Do we tear it off or find her in contempt of court? How long or short should hair be? Fingernails, the way you walk. Let's start by naming the places where sex matters most. Athletics and prison. In places where the eggs are beaten, other detention facilities, domestic violence shelters, rape crisis centers, locker rooms, bathrooms, and other areas where biology, safety, or privacy are implicated. We need to know where to lock you up when you transgress. What further insults will you suffer there? Maybe you should not be wearing a skirt, those pants, that beaded top, the eyeliner. Should brush your hair or shave, unbind your chest, smile. When it comes to sex, equal does not mean same or identical. When it comes to sex, separate is not inherently unequal. The rhetoric sounds familiar. The water warm, the fountain dirty. That's a reference to some divisive content. What is despair? What is a woman in stealth? What is a woman in distress? A child in a dress, a vest, a test, beaten into submission, overwritten. Whatever a woman is can't be contained in an egg like a pair of legs. The bill was drafted by a woman who says our constitutional freedoms and individual liberties are at stake every day in our government. Yes, Congresswoman, they certainly are. She says the government should not control us by telling us when we can open our businesses, but wants the state to have the body, your body, their way. Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired? You will answer to the name assigned to you at birth. You will fall into line, into two lines, man, woman, girl, father, boy, mother. Today I paint my lips red. Today I wear a suit. Today I swing my axe. Where is beauty, love, joy, freedom? What are people? What is person? Who is human? Who gets to vote? Who has a say? Who records the experience of being a woman? Where are all the other words to describe you? I fill in the grid of my puzzle, letters into boxes. Thursday may be a rebus. You might need to put more than one letter into the box, sometimes numbers. Pay attention to the black boxes. Crack the code, break the grid, and the answer does not fit. Somehow you have to share the space. You have no other words to use by law to tell us who you are, so tell us. A woman without eggs in Alabama, in a body that does not belong to us. A person who loves who they love but cannot say. It is unspeakable. In this country, it's cracking and so fragile that it cannot contain multitudes. We should all refuse to be reduced, contained, invalidated. An egg, a zero, a thing, an organ, an instrument in some facile design. I stood on the cusp of change, but I can feel it receding like the edge of a dream. Her breath against the back of my neck as the furnace rages inside me. The violence of poetry is an act of love.
Really powerful, actually. Thank you. Also, everybody go vote and protest. First of all, women are people. I don't know if you guys know. It's kind of crazy. So anyway, before I welcome our next reader, I just wanted to say that we are a non-profit organization, so that means we do not profit at all. So we have this like cute little donation box, and it's got ducks on it. Look, it's so cute. They're like all friends and stuff. And they're like really poor, so if you wanted to like help them get breadcrumbs, you could like put some dollars in there. But no, for real, if you wanted to donate, I'll put the bucket over on that table. And yeah, thank you so much. The next reader is Susan.
Bad news. I'm a first timer. This is called Having Issues. Can't help but think, and thinking leads me to write with an ink pen on paper, recycled. There must be a stop to this endlessly moronic, uninformed opinionating. Strength is in knowledge, not information. Religion practices love and reverence, not domination or fear of words. If one cannot argue both sides, articulate the problem fluently, fairly, then shut it. An issue is actually concern, not color-sided statements. This is called Dark Glass. It begins and ends with a haiku. A winter morning, jewel to the rain before dawn, corner of the house. There is the merest of a chance to turn from the disembodied voice, to cease incessant parroting of another's truth, and quietly sit by the fire, ask for help and forgive others. Pledge to do the only thing God is clear on. All, the many, the vapor, and the Christ is clear on. And I will pledge for you. The winter is coming. Let us see the spring together. Corner of the house, jewel to the rain before dawn, a winter morning. When I think about people hearing, I think it's interesting to hear them backwards. This is a palindrome, and it's called The Phoenix Terrified. The phoenix rose before the dawn, ascending only, fanning the flames with her great wings, bound in spell until beasts with gnashing teeth made fear with anger. Though nothing was ever taken from them, they had become angry men. The women and the men were all in all angry men, perished, tasting ashes, burned alive, finally, with freedom, the mythical captive, bound away and up, the more and more lone, alone. Lone, alone, the more and more, bound away and up, the mythical captive with freedom, finally burned alive, tasting ashes, perished. Angry men, the women and the men were all in all, they had become angry men, though nothing was ever taken from them. With anger, made fear, until beasts with gnashing teeth, bound in spell with her great wings, fanning the flames, ascending only, rose before the dawn, the phoenix.
Wow, great job, Susan. Give it up for Susan, first time ever. She really loved the way that you read, honestly. Your pacing was like really nice. I could have fallen asleep, honestly, like, in a good way. Just kidding. No, really great job. Let's welcome our next reader, Anna.
This is a piece on failure. This burden I have carried on my back for 9 years is mine alone to bear. My oldest relation, I have seen many love and leave me, but this one stays. At times the pressure is a comfort, but God, I feel like I'm suffocating. Tonight the orchestra plays beautifully, filling my soul with a peaceful melancholy I have come to love. I have always loved the sensual sounds of the cello. I have always wanted to be maestro. She stands above the orchestra, a sable figure of dominance and sophistication, the mastermind of something beautiful. I tried to create something beautiful once. It is a holy day of obligation, the 21st of May. The whole host of heaven has gathered to sing the dirge for my inspiration. And though I try and lift my voice to join the congregation in the sky, still I find myself speechless from grief. I am making myself sick. All I want is to be a part of something beautiful. I tried to create something beautiful once.
As I watch the conductor's effortless grace, I wonder if she has ever felt as I do. Is she obsessed with perfection? Must everything be right? Does she believe salvation is found at the point of a baton or the nib of a pen? All I am sure of is this. Another year goes by and I remain the same. A prodigal poet with nothing to offer but these few verses.
Great job. So you can be a member of Out Loud, by the way. Didn't know if you guys knew that. I'm sure a lot of you do. But if you pay us $20, then you're a member of our group. So that basically just means you have access to our Discord, which is where we kind of chat about poetry and also just kind of do whatever in there. We have, let's see, what else do you get? Oh my God, yeah, member meetups. Yeah. Also, workshops. What? Crazy cool mugs. What? Who is saying all this to me right now? Well, you get all those things as a member. So yeah, if you'd like to do that, we can do that after with work. So our next reader is Emma.
I'm also a first-time reader. I just want to start speaking healing and pain aloud. This is called Stolen Words. Words twisted and stolen, taken from the voice of belongings. Belong? No. Owned is a better word. Healed sentences trickle into my keypad. Words earned. Hours cried. Anger pounded. Therapy bills paid. Narcissist is a term my peers know better than the generation before them. Verbiage that brings clarity to the swirling sandstorm of childhood. Quick is the mind of a parent who feels their property's brain shift from brick to sand and wish it was formed from. A brick is firm in the hands, but sand, it trembles away. Did you not mold it strong enough? Beat it with theology in hands? You are building a credit to yourself, not God. Fuck your God. Fuck him. That graceless deity you masoned. Go ahead, babble your voice up to hell. The God in the sand, the words, tears that splash my therapist's couch, childhood memories revisited, remothered. His millstone awaits your stiff neck. His hand holds the child you deserted with your prayers. You sought to build a tower, crushing the backs of your children. Did you forget the tower? Built bigger than God, forsaken and lost to time? It's in the book you carry, the story told to me on your knee. My voice is another language to you now. We will go our separate ways. My boundaries, you may call a stiff neck and a hard heart, but they shelter the organ you bruised. Build your tower if you must, but you may find you're the last one left hammering. And the bricks you made turn back to sand.
Give it up for one more time, Emma, first time reader. We love our first time readers here, honestly. I love when new people come up here and just share what they've written. We need more of that all the time. I love seeing new faces, honestly. Thank you so much. Welcome our next reader, Brent.
In the tradition of the goldfish poem that I first read my first time here. I'm going to start with a fun food-related poem. So I decide I want a mimosa. Brunch place, hour late, I say no, sir. Fuck it. I went to Publix. I got some OJ and sparkling wine and a turkey sandwich on King's Hawaiian. A drive to the lake makes a water bottle mimosa. I wonder if I'm crazy. I say no, sir. You critical of my picnic? You want to criticize me? Bro, come try me. I'm the king of Hawaii. I said, fuck it. I said, no, sir. I went to Publix. I got a mimosa. Skipped the wait list, made a quick picnic. I'll be down by the lake drinking bubbles and OJ. I'm going to try to tighten this. Hold on. This is going to count against my time. No, we need a flathead. Okay. Just checking. All right, this next one's called Time to Clean My Car. You were the double shot latte on a sleepy morning. 2 granola bars instead of lunch. You were the salt and grease of a French fry, making me feel good and bad at the same time. I burned my mouth on you at first. You were my travel umbrella, just big enough to hide me from the elements and small enough to take it everywhere. You were the USB charging cable for a dying battery. You were a grocery list, reminding me of everything, except the things we both forgot. You were the first aid kit, ready for my mistakes. You were that new car smell. Now I'm out of Band-Aids, even the one shaped like knuckles, but there wasn't one shaped like a heart. I started making different lists of only the things I'd forgotten. This cable doesn't fit my new phone, but its battery gets me through most days. Now I walk in the rain and let it hide my tears. Drive-through food tastes different when I'm not eating it in secret. There are better things to skip than lunch. And the best latte is the one I didn't need and drank anyway, because I'm finally awake. This one's called Window of Opportunity. Dinner got cold, ice cream drips down, soda's gone flat, the guac turned brown. Seize the day, they say, before it turns sour. Time has a shelf life, moments, not hours. You can shrink wrap the past, but now is on the table. Eat it up, eat it fast, grab a spoon, grab a ladle. What's the decay rate of your hustle? The half-life of a life half-lived, supply and demand of causality, the inflation rate of time well spent. Hunger versus taste, languor versus haste, Taco Bell or Chipotle, quality versus quantity. Do you want to be late or constipated? Can time really be wasted? Borrowed, spent, or bought? Do we eat time, or does it eat us faster and faster before we rot? I don't think we even know the right questions, but just in case, my aim is to give time indigestion. All right, and my last one is called Let's Talk About Rocket Science. Woo. Hey y'all, let's talk about rocket science. It ain't all about spec compliance and requirements. I'm an aerospace engineer, ballistician, mathematician, statistician, so listen. I'm a coder and decoder of solid rocket motors and their missions, driven by the vision of bold decisions to explore every orbit and give no quarter to mystery. Standing on a history of giants of all sciences, engineering the next discovery. I'll give you some examples. Percy, the rover, is overgrabbing samples. We're building Mars Sample Return to bring them home to learn about life on Mars, about our place in the stars, which brings me to Artemis. We're at the start of this epic campaign to sustain our presence in deep space. We're talking moon base, the next great space race. We'll be forced to use our destination, in situ resource utilization, making plans to live off the land of another planet, another sky, another sunset. We saw the Earth rise on Apollo 8, the world awake to a global self-portrait, a selfie without borders, a blue marble with no corners. Let's unite to ignite the engines of a future without pollution, with space-borne global warming solutions. This isn't a conclusion. Welcome to the dawn of constant launches, where I'm honored to apply my mind to make space our infatuation, destination, destiny, and recreation. I send rockets to the black to bring back that manifest destiny to chart the dark waters. Because if home is where I left my heart, then I'm headed to the stars, y'all. Let's go.
Oh yeah, that was so fun. stuff, honestly, it's so creative. I feel like my car would love if I wrote a poem about it. You know? Like, I never asked it that. So I'm going to do a quick shout out, quick last minute shout out. There's this summer writing summit happening at Athens State University Writing Center. Somebody watching on the live feed wanted me to shout this out. There's workshops, storytelling, drama, roundtables, open mic, author panel, design, TV and film, poetry, publication, and the Summer Writing Summit is happening June 27th and 28th to 7 p.m. I might leave this flyer just kind of hanging around up here if anybody wants to revisit that after the show. So yeah. So please welcome up our next reader, Anthony.
How's it going, everybody? Wow, how's it going, everybody? I was telling Mario before, like, I'm really in this really weird space with my writing. Like, I've been inspired, but I have, like, no direction. Like, wheels are spinning, but, like, I'm not going anywhere. So, I don't have anything new. I'm just going to read two poems that are incomplete. And then I'm going to share one of my favorites that I've done here before, and we'll see how that goes. All right? I don't know if you all remember me. I've seen some new faces, which is always great. I love seeing new faces. I hope you all continue to come back and perform. So we love that. But yeah, I usually start with, I have something to say, and I need the crowd to respond with, speak your mind. Is that cool? I got something to say. Speak your mind. Appreciate it. I woke up the other morning with a strange affinity for death. As if death could be personified, my lust for her would only be rivaled by my infatuation of pain and panic, like sidekicks to Hades who sends his ladies like Meg to exploit my weaknesses. Now that's satanic because I'm no Wonder Boy. That's it. Let's see. What's it called when you want to talk but have nothing to say? When you want to invite people in but have no place for them to stay? Thinking that you have nothing to offer, you unintentionally push them away, hoping that there comes a day where you're included in somebody else's story. Keeping your pages open, hoping that they can write a chapter for me, maybe two. So when I go back to review, these experiences become my truth. All right, this one's fun. So, let me tell you about this girl, y'all. She is so fine. Like, she has a body that will have you wagering your soul with the devil, but her energy is so divine. So I, Greg Popovich, defensive state of mind, launched a full court press to apply pressure just for a moment of her time. Now, quick aside, the only substantive commonality we shared was our toxic relationship with time. But like a coin showing different sides, she showing the expectations of an unrealistic future. Me, burdened by the sins of my past, and us, we collectively turned a blind eye to the present, which unintentionally invited stumbling blocks on our path. But more on that in a second. Let's get back to the matter at hand. I thought that I could turn on the charm, and I told her that I wanted to be right beside her side, like a tattoo on her arm. No, that wasn't good. Okay, that wasn't good. I got it. So she looked at me and said, "Man, that was corny." But she said it with a smile, so I knew I missed my shot, but I had missed it by a mile. In an effort to recover, I asked her her name, and out of kindness, she did the same. So we started to chat and talked about R&B and rap, and then my ADD kicked in. I started to lose track, and we got on the topic of sex, and I got, like how do we get to that? Frustrated, she responded, so she said, "Oh, you're one of those guys. You think a relationship is centered around one thing, and that's all you think about is sex." And I said, "Well, yes. I mean, no." I mean, I love sex, but it's intimacy that I crave, and I think that's what makes me different from the rest. So she stares at me, slightly annoyed, but rather intrigued, so I simply proceed. I told her that I want to bite the ear that hears my deepest fears. Lock lips with the one that tells me her deepest secrets. It's safe with me, love. I sealed it with a kiss. Increase the air in her lungs using the same tongue I used to affirm her. So addicted to the taste, so I waste no time to hoist her legs around my face and let her know that she never left my mind in the first place. I want to wipe the tears from her eyes that she held for me when I didn't know how to cry. Where the scars on my back is a symbol of pride, is a visual representation of what feels when I'm inside of her heart. And as those fortified walls, and her fortified walls fell, as we changed positions, and I remember the first time that she gave me permission to start my addiction. It's a go inside my addiction. And like sand sliding through an hourglass, I'm seemingly sliding through the smallest parts of her, and an hour have passed, and I can't help but look at you and laugh, not making fun of you, but just reflecting how we went from park benches to nightlights. Got me prolonging my blinks to not miss a second of you in my sights. As I closely study your features, I hold on you extra tight and kiss you on the forehead and remind you that you are beautiful. Anything less than that is simply inexcusable. Now, you're probably wondering who I wrote that about. Some of y'all just scanning the crowd to see if there's a person that's new to Huntsville Out Loud holding the camera all proud, but I made it up. Simply just an allegory, but I was inspired to write up to this point, so I'm going to put the pen down and let life finish the story. Thank you.
I know who you're writing about. It was me, wasn't it? I see you looking at me. Wow, okay, great job. I wanted to say also, we're like at a bar. Isn't that crazy? So you can like buy liquor and alcohol and things, but somebody gives that to you. And that's Brooklyn. You should totally tip her. She's so nice and sweet. Woo! Yes, tip her bartender. Thank you, Straight to Ale. Thank you, Brooklyn. Yeah. Okay, next reader is Max. Hey.
I wrote this after watching the movie Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Playing the game Contrast. It's a lot less popular. Traveling through time just to attend a raffle of signs for days to come can make it hard to understand the contrast between shadows of yesterday's dusk and today's dawn. Ode to the old dark, oh so dark, no spark, because blown fuses are a nuisance. But the light doesn't always provide a fix for a lack of bliss, so it's written off as just useless. A trend for the kids, nothing to miss. Farmers who grow fear and lose love to nurture the pain. Nothing to teach the young ones so they gain habits, learning from and turning to the rabbits to understand what to do, because at least they have the willpower to hop around frantic when it's time to panic. Only to be pulled out of the hat when it's too late, and the pressure is on. Knees start to buckle, faces facing down to the ground. However, the hairs on the neck now stand at attention quite attentively, because now they finally realize that's where they're supposed to be.
Nice job. All right, we're gonna move right along here. Our next reader is Maya.
She just went to the bathroom.
Oh, never mind. Oh my God, there she is. What? That's right. Their next reader is Maya.
Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom. So I have two today, and they're both new. I've never read them, so that's terrifying. The first one, it doesn't really have a title yet, so let's see what it says. I see them in the garden, bodies bent for 2 plots of earth. Uneaten harvests rot in those miniature fields studded with worms, all stolen from their homes, brought here to this melting pot. Little hands glisten, wet with the greenness of torn leaves. They bury fists in, tear with small sharp nails. Into the tangle of roots and rock, rip it from the wet, warm earth. What is this, they ask, of the crabgrass and the dandelions and the clover and the dead nettle? What is this, they ask, of the peas and the strawberries and the pears and the sage? All is pulled just the same. Calloused hands wired in their newness, all reburied just the same. Holes dug in quick motions, dirt driven deep into the nail bed, all is fed just the same. They water the weeds with a reverence that time has reserved for worship. And so the next one is very different from how I usually write. I got surgery a couple months ago. They widened my upper jaw, moved it forward, and moved my lower jaw backwards. So I look a little different now, which is really weird. Like looking in the mirror, like you look like a little different. So this is kind of about that. And both my parents had to have it. Well, you'll have seen the film. And it's called Is She Me or All Our Histories. I look different than I did a year ago. My lips not less full, the lower one not jutting out quite so much. Gone my Habsburg jaw, remnants of my family's Appalachia-laden past, concave round, weak chin. I'm trying to be rounder now. All the websites, magazines, people say, wear square glasses, balance the round jaw, make the circle face desirable. I don't know how to stop wanting to be desirable. Did this make me more desirable? Mama, you have this jaw. Mama, are you happy you kept this jaw? Mama, all anyone ever told me was that you look just like your mama, they said. My mama told me she had nightmares when I was in her womb, that I was born with my mama's tiny stature and my mother's thick thighs. My mama has thighs like strong roots. My mama has the thighs of a woman straddling a saddle. My mama has wide, fleshy thighs. I used to scale them, burrow under her skirt and run my fingers along and up. I wonder if my great-great-grandmother, who got married at 13, sent her husband to work at dawn and went back inside to play with her dolls, had that jaw. Does Mama have this jaw? Did Grandma have this jaw? Did Great-Grandma Shirley, Mama loved her dirty jokes, have this jaw? Did Great-Grandma Shirley burrow under her mother's skirts, trace her fingers along and up, and ponder why her lower lip jutted out so much? Did Ladies' Home Journal tell Great-Grandma Shirley not to wear pillbox or closed hats? Opt instead for a flat-brimmed sailor's cap to balance the round jaw, make the circle face desirable. Did Grandma have this jaw? Mama, did you see this jaw in those stained glass triptychs? Did you see it in your mother? Think when you were little she was the most beautiful woman you'd ever seen, beautiful like Mary and Mary and Mary of the Bible. Mama, why did you fear that I would look like all the women who led to me? Daddy, you had this jaw. Did those grandfathers I don't remember, never met, have this jaw? Daddy, do your half-siblings you never told me about have this jaw? Did your great-uncle who was eaten to death by pigs have this jaw? Did your daddy have this jaw, he and Mama together with this jaw? In that little one-room dirt floor house they made you and all your siblings in, that land Mama was born on, same land she says she's gonna die on, it's had this jaw 100 years. Do all those ancestors and those tomes of history I didn't know existed have this jaw? Daddy, are you glad you don't have this jaw? My daddy joined the army, shaved his head. They saw that Appalachia face and let us break it, wire it back together. The doctor will do one side, the trainee will do the other. Here's some pliers on a piece of twine. Cut the wires if you're gonna vomit. Cut them so you don't choke on that vomit. My dad wants to open a convenience store in Monkey's Eyebrow, Kentucky. Wants to name it Chang's Market after his favorite movie, Tremors. I'd be willing to bet you never heard of Monkey's Eyebrow, Kentucky. Just like you never heard of Central City, Muhlenberg County, little southern Appalachia town of my recent and ancient ancestors who had this, who made this jaw. Daddy, why are you trying so hard not to be round? Will my mama cry if a baby comes out of me all short in stature and thick in the thighs? Will she tell me again about those nightmares of being undesirable? I know, Mama, why you feared I'd look like all the women who led to me. Would my daddy's market in Monkey's Eyebrow, Kentucky sell Cosmopolitans, sell ladies' home journals, tell those Habsburg-jawed women how to make their faces more desirable? I know, Daddy, why you don't want to be round. I don't know how to stop wanting to be desirable. Did this make me more desirable?
Really well done. Thank you for doing that. That's a lot to come up about the merch a little bit. We've got some merch, if you'd like some. We've got our anthologies. Basically from the last like 5 or 6 years, basically everybody that reads from the year gets put into an anthology if you submit. And we've got all that over here. So a lot of people that are here tonight and that aren't here have read up here and put it in an anthology. So we got those for sale. They're $12. We've also got some stickers. You can put a bunch of stickers on your car. You can make your car an out loud car if you want. We've got some journals that you can write poetry in. So yeah, we've got a lot of cool stuff over there. Just go check it out right now. Our next reader is Unique. Unique, is that correct?
This piece is called Solitaire. I'm realizing the relationship I had with you was like playing solitaire. It was solitary confinement. You see, I was dealing my hand, thought I laid out a king, misjudged myself as your queen, when really I was stuck with the joker because jokes were on me. I was playing with the ghost of who I thought you were, but losing to the reality of who you actually are. This is why my dad always said to never deal out what I can't take. Why he taught me about a poker face, how to snoop the real from the fake. You were looking at me saying all the right things, and like putty, the more you pulled and held me, I melted into your palms, but like gum, I became sticky and glued to you, and that's when you brought up those commitment issues. And yes, this should have been the red flag that made me run away like a white girl from Michael Myers, but red flag never felt me. I have a bad habit of trying to fix liars. But like I said, I was playing cards, and this was a deck I thought I could manage. My heart is big enough to take at least some damage. But for you, this was just a challenge. My emotions were collateral, and you were never one to care about feelings, just what you got to fill in. Yet somehow I was the villain. And what was I to expect from someone still obsessed with his ex? For someone you talk so much shit about, you sure did love the taste of her name in your mouth. See, I thought we were playing cards, but really we were on the court, and I played the perfect rebound.
Unique, are you a first-time reader as well? Wow! Well read, also. I would like to now talk about, I brought some books from Burnwater Books. This is a bookstore that's in Louisville. Has anybody been there? Not Louisville, but Burnwater. Cool, yeah. Okay, so more people should check it out. It's got a really great selection of different genres of books. We're trying to do like a little cross-promotion thing. They're selling some of our anthologies that I just mentioned over there, so if you were just happening to walk in there, you could go over there. But I brought like just a couple of my books that I bought from there, and just to see what they kind of have. It's mostly poetry and like philosophy, nonfiction. There's some essays and stuff like that. So yeah, and there's like a ton of bookmarks over there. So if you want to steal a bookmark, don't steal my books, but go ahead and steal as many bookmarks as you want. And he's got all his info on there. And yeah, Josh is a really great guy. Go check out Burnwater Books. It's kind of near the like cat store area. So yeah. And there's like an ogre painting. He's like a little like yes, catch. Cool. Yeah, go check out Burnwater. Our next reader, please welcome up Lana.
Hello. All right, so this one has been bandying around for a couple months, and I finished it today. It's a quadrille. The magic assigned word was cumbersome. I mean, the word was cumbersome. It's called Rituals of Control. It's cumbersome, praying, singing, knowing some people, shunning others, myriad altars, some washed daily with blood just to keep the sun circling or binding love beyond death with violence now. All we really need is kindness and to breathe until we can't. That's easy. I would say I'm a first-time reader, but I'm reading one that I read 3 years ago here, but I want to get it in the anthology so that someday when you're 80, you can pull the anthology off the shelf and you can say, I was there when Lona read this poem, and the grandkids will look up at you and say, eyes of amazement, say, what? I will do the same for all of you. It's called Dear Consequence. I always thought you were something to suffer, an improvised device, answering my every step, both mutable and sure, inscrutable, and counting down the years and days, together pounding our little plans to powder beneath your watchful gaze. I would fill you, searching out the issue of my blood, who never knew they would be running swiftly to any of the 4 horizons to escape your careful ticking in my head. We lived, instead, in hiding, stopping ears and hearts, while worlds we built slipped between our fingers, sifting out into the sand. But we are still here, somehow, and feel you, strangely, not as a violent flash, but as if we were a clutch of hornets, proud and dagger-sharp, drinking your thick golden stream of honey dripping from a tree. You drape us in your slow insinuations until it is too late, our feet sweetly fixed where they had lighted, the tenacious mill cementing us in amber casings, iridescence shining out from jeweled and empty eyes, looking for all the world as if they yet showed something that could still be called alive. I don't quite remember, even now, how I am still here. But here I am. Gazing back into the yellow glass, I mark your countenance in the faces of my kin and watch you meting out the measures of their pain. Have I become cold as I question how it is, dear consequence, that you no longer stalk me? Rather, it is I who see you from a far way off, returning as a prodigal from the wastes. The times and seasons question if I am but shedding my skin as I run swiftly out to meet you, bargaining away my necktie for pearls, and my go-to-meeting suit for a dress of flowers, and my beard for a skin of softness, and walls of privilege for a chance to be a byword or a monster or a joke, breathing free. I hand you back. I hand you back that shell they held so tightly that one swept in careful corners before making plans to die, as it then held me both bound and divided until it fell away. And I can wrap you now in colors of the days and lay my head on your soft and understanding shoulder as the music plays. I know finally now I simply cannot fear the yet uncovered places that you carried us. I count with you the cadence of each tear, knowing deep inside I am the blast radius. I'll tell you, I've read that a few times at my transgender support group through the years. And my wife Carly's made a habit sometimes when she's giving a piece of advice about how you can't really care for others unless you care for yourself. She'll say, remember kids, you are the blast radius. So, anyway, thank you all. It's great to be here.
So much, Lana. Always great to hear your words. Please welcome up our next reader, Christian.
This first piece is called God, Grace, and Love. I don't really know how to write about love. My body of work is mostly making art of black bodies being kissed by bullets, hollow tips, grazing our skin from the casket's outstretched hand, caressing cracked pipes between our lips, singing songs of post-slavery syndrome. This is not a black piece. It's just that sometimes it's easier to talk about a nigga who could be me instead of the one in the mirror. See, love has no bias. She's a colorblind police who will leave your hearts beat up, tremoring, staring down the barrel of her gun, who leaves you cuffed, chained to the delusion that she'll be your parole officer for a life sentence, puts you in bondage, dominates your every thought, has you submit to a master who mistakes you for a masochist. Being whipped was never meant to come with a crown, never meant to leave you rooted in a system of abuse. Shoot, love is a poplar tree. And you, the martyr hanging to the hope of a utopia that never comes, branches out to hold you, then leaves you to die, says you must sap every ounce of your being to mold to her image, must forsake your roots to cohabitate with her, must embark on a new path, leaving your old ways behind. She's a jealous God, demanding praise though she nails your palms to a cedar tree. You, not Jesus, but she mistakes you for a masochist, a martyr sent to suffer so she may live. She be a sadist. You, Job, standing on the rubble of a collapsed world while she smiles at your unwavering loyalty. Love is a sanctuary, and you are the sacrificial lamb, must be skinned alive before entering her holy place. Places a veil you can't get beyond. It passes over my mind if this was meant to be a black trauma piece, an angry letter to God piece, a depiction of the pulmonary valve after love turns it into a picket sign piece, but all three leave me in pieces. I am not a love poet, but if I were to ornament my body of work with the fragments of a broken heart, maybe it would go something like this. And I have another one that's a little bit more fun. Listen here, Jack. Your poker face ain't fooling me. Told me I was the only one who had your heart, but I called your bluff. Tried to play me for a court jester. But this isn't spades, because if it was, I'd pull out the deuce and let it rain on any king who thinks he's high. You must have thought love was a game of Uno, because you always try to reverse the blame on me. Well, guess what? I'm in my villain era like the Joker, so I'm reverse the blame back on you. Skip you, then stop playing this game so I can find myself a new queen. Maybe I'll play solitaire. I've been playing solitude. I've been playing with the hand I was dealt with in my solitude anyway, so what's the difference? Look, I thought you were something I could bet on. Treated you like a winning lottery ticket till I found out every nigga had your number, so it wasn't worth much. Still, like a fool, I continued to try my luck. Went all in, double down, not recognizing your pot ain't have jack to give, gave you chance after chance after chance, like a gambler who can't stop rolling the hand, but you were a community chest. An open bank, I wanted to monopolize on us, but your company was shared. Investing in soul bonds binded my soul to jail. Now I can't afford to pay a bail. But such is life, right? Me letting the waterworks while you scrabble for an empty sorry trying to get out of trouble. Man, call a doctor because you're sick. And I'm done doing operation rebuilding a heart I never broke in the first place. I'm bored of the games we play. Done being a pawn in your Ponzi scheme, gaslit to repent to a bishop for crimes you did to me. So check this, queen. The silent night is done jumping over side pieces to get near you. So I'm going to hit you with this L, take you out the game, and oh yeah, checkmate. Go and find yourself another king. Silent night, so that's what that reference was.
Sick. I've never seen you before. You in here too?
Yeah.
Oh, who's my reader?
You got me excited.
We got two more readers, and before we get to that, I wanted to reference there's a little bar next door. Everybody's not really been here before, but we just opened this place called Lips Lounge. It's part of Straight to Ale. Just wanted to give it a little shout out. It's a karaoke bar that you don't have to be covered in smoke to go sing karaoke. So just a cute little thing I wanted to drop there. They've been super busy on the weekends. I think they're on like Wednesday and Saturday. So go check it out. Lips Lounge, it's right next door, in between here and the coffee shop. So, yeah. Next reader is Chloe.
I was telling my friend over there, I was like, my poem's going to be real silly because y'all are great. And this poem is literally about a wiggly critter. Yeah. Just one that I saw on the side of the road a lot. And I was like, oh, I'm going to write a poem about that because, yeah, that was normal. So my poem is called Little Groundhog. Little groundhog on the country roadside, munching away at your forage as the world goes by. You stand proudly as you watch the barren field, once filled with overflowing white, now nothing but dried holes. Little groundhog, you know only little of Carter and Jen. Longing stares and mindless cares display the tranquility you feel as the dust drapes across your peace. No predators, no humans, no storms to be seen, simply safe and serene, the nature from which you are keen.
Honestly, I could listen to poetry about just little road critters any day. So just keep writing like that. I actually love poetry that's just about literally nothing. Like this microphone, I don't know. Or like your car. I thought that was cool. Please welcome our last reader, Daco.
It's actually pronounced Dakota. It's like Dakota without the toe.
It's fine. Anyways, is anybody here a fan of Pride and Prejudice? Like, we're talking like the yearning, you know? I just love a good quality yearning. So that's what this poem is about. It's the way I yearn for you. To breathe the air you breathe would be enough. Stolen glances across the table. You could cut attention in the room with a knife. The heat of it, like the late summer air charged with the threat of storms, clouds heavy with rain, ready to fall. The touch of your hand against mine, body electric. I am weightless, hold me down. And I only have two, so this is my last one. I am a fruit salad in a bowl made of fine china. The kind you wouldn't be nervous to serve to your southern grandparents on a Sunday afternoon after church. The most they do is comment on how pretty the bowl is. They'd remark on how delicious the fruit is, a fine selection indeed. But eventually, the flies come to feast, and when someone goes to pick up the bowl, they won't be able to miss the evident cracks and chips. I'm long overdue for a new one, and I wonder what they'll say when I am a fruit salad in a bowl made of crystal. Thank you.
Nice job, Daco.
Thank you. And by the way, everybody saw, like if you're a member, what you should become, they saw it there first, the second poem. The group saw it first on Discord.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah. That's great. Yeah, well, welcome. Thanks for coming out, guys. This is the end of Out Loud. Please tip Brooklyn. She's amazing. Great at her job. Wow, oh my God. And don't forget to check out the merch if you want to check that out. And yeah, thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.